Friends, this is K. Shrikant from Department of ECE, ISL Engineering College. Now I will be going to handle the subject called signals and systems. Now what is the importance of signals and systems in the real time world? It is something like, in order to understand the properties or characteristics of any signal, we need a system, and similarly we need a signal so that a system is normally going to process the signal. That means without signal there is no use of any system, and similarly without any system we really cannot understand how the signal is simply propagating, or what is that we have to really process. So therefore both are interdependent on each other. Therefore we are dealing with the signals and systems topic, right? So now we will be dealing with this course called signals and systems. Now what is basically a signal is? Signal is basically going to be any physical phenomenon which is normally going to occur in the practice, which known as a function which depends on one or many independent variables or parameters, is simply known as a system. Or a signal can also be called as a fundamental quantity of representing some other quantity is known as a signal. That means a signal is known as a fundamental quantity which represents some other quantity is simply known as a signal, okay, or representing some information. So basically signal is going to contain the information. So therefore we can define the signal is a fundamental quantity of representing some information is known as a signal, or a signal is going to come in the form of any physical interpretation or any physical representation of a signal can be represented as any physical interpretation, right, which depends on one or two variables or one or many independent variables. Now if you take an example like one parameter is related to another parameter, that means voltage is related to the time period of the signal, then we normally going to represent an electrical signal which is in the form of a sine wave. If you observe this green waveform which we are going to observe over here, what is this now? It is a sine wave signal. This signal is dependent, that is here in this particular waveform the voltage is dependent on the time period. So where single peak is represented as an amplitude and this peak to peak is represented as a peak to peak amplitude, and every signal is going to have some time period. So now signal can be called as a function. That means this f of x1, x2, x3 so on up to xn can be called as a signal. Why? Because it is representing some information or some data which depends on one or many variables. So any signal which depends on one or more variables is simply known as a function. So therefore in a signals and systems concept we normally describe a system as a function which depends on one or more variables. Now in this particular case this signal is represented on time period t. Okay. Now next let us look into the various examples of the signals which we have in the practical world. Now what are the examples of signal we have? We have a speech signal, we are going to have a ECG signal. So all these are real time signals which we normally going to find. Now you are listening to my speech signal, my voice is a speech signal. So the speech signal on time domain, if you draw a waveform, it is going to look like this, a zigzag kind of a fashion, because my voice sometimes amplitude is going to be somewhat more, some other time the amplitude is less, and for some other time what is happening now, the phase of the signal is changing continuously. So it's going to be like a zigzag kind of a alternatingly varying signal with respect to time, and hence I can call this as a signal, right? Now similarly the ECG signal, right? So what is ECG signal? It is going to show us the pumping rate of the heart, at what rate the heart is pumping the blood. So that to understand that we normally going to go with the ECG signal. These two are the real time signals which we can think of. And another signal which we can think of is going to be an image signal. Why we normally use the image signal? Image can also be called as a signal for the digital processing system. For a digital processing system we have to supply the image signal. So here this signal is simply divided into many subparts. So each part is normally going to be called as a pixel. So now these pixels we normally going to find out, and by processing these pixels we normally going to process the image for a betterment, right? Now see this here, in this picture we have red dots. These red dots are known as the pixels, right? Now like this we are going to find out the values of pixels, and we process those pixels in the digital image processing to have a clear image, or to process the image and to see the required information more clearly. We normally going to process the two-dimensional image signal. Now this image signal is going to be a two-dimensional image signal. Why it is two-dimensional? It is going to have x-axis and y-axis. Now all the lines are drawn parallel to x-axis as well as y-axis, and hence it is called as a two-dimensional image signal. Now what do you mean by a signal in the image processing? It is going to be known as a variation pattern that conveys some information. Now if you observe this carefully, this signal, now these pixels are different. Now here it is totally white, here I have black, okay. Like this the pixels are normally going to vary from one point to another point. That means you are going to observe some variation in the pattern of the pixels. So the variation pattern is known as a signal in the case of the image, or it is going to speak about the information. The variation pattern of an image is known as an information, which is called as a signal for us. So that means signal may exist in many forms. What are the various forms of signal? Acoustic signal. Now my voice is purely acoustic in nature, because vibrations in the atmosphere are known as acoustic in nature. So it is going to be acoustic nature. Then image, this is an image. You're going to have a video. Video is also going to be called as a signal for the system. And electrical signals you're going to have, heat energies, light signals we're going to have. So all these signals are going to come in many forms, right? So in the practical world, based on the application, the form of the signal is also going to change. The signal, that means we have to apply the signal to the appropriate system. That means every system cannot take every signal. So that is why we should compulsorily look into the system before we apply the type of the signal to it. Now see, same thing has been explained here. Now let us look into the system now. What is a system? A system is nothing but an entity that responds to a signal. This is a system. This system is going to give a response to the input signal. So it can be called as an entity, or a system can be called as interconnection of many other subsystems involved in processing of many other signals internally. So the primary objective of this system is to take the input signal, process the input signal, and then it has to give the desired output signal, which is simply known as a system for us. So overall it is going to be taken as an entity that responds to a signal. So a system has to give a desired response for the given input signal. So that is known as a system basically. System is very simple. Any entity which gives a response after processing, which gives a response to the signal, input signal after processing, is known as a system for us. Now there are two electrical circuits which I have given you an example as a practical examples, called a low pass filters. RC low pass filter. If you see this now, the first figure is going to speak about the frequency response of a RC circuit. Second figure is going to speak about the time response of the RC network, time response of the RC network. Now what is the outcome, what is the output? It is giving some response for the given input signal. Now that means since this system of RC network is giving some response, we simply call this as a system. Now what is the response in the first case? Now as the circuit is RC low pass filter, it has to allow only low frequencies to flow through it. That means as you go on increase the frequencies, after some cutoff frequency here, the amplitude of the signal is simply decreasing. See this amplitude of the signal, the gain is simply coming down at a low frequencies. So therefore it is going to be known as a frequency response of a signal. Now if you apply a step input, what is the step input? There is going to be a sudden raise in the signal at a particular instance of time, say t1, the amplitude is going to be maximum. That is called a step signal. Now the response to the step signal for the RC low pass circuit is going to be like this. It is going to increase exponentially to reach to the final value. So finally the capacitor should charge to the maximum voltage V. So that means the equation is going to be V into 1 minus e power minus 1 by RC. So based on this equation, we normally going to get a response. So since a system is giving some response, we simply call this as a valid system. So every system should compulsorily give some response in order to say that the system is going to be a useful system or a valid system. So here this system is giving a response to us. Now practically, so let us say camera, okay, digital camera or any camera, so is known as a system for us. Now what this camera is doing, the camera is capturing the scene in front of it, and that particular photo is being processed by the image before it is giving it to the end user as an image. So therefore, since it is taking some input, this blue line is coming now. This is nothing but the capturing of the image. It captures the image, it processes the data, then it is going to give you the output as an image. Then similarly, speech recognition system. Now what is speech recognition system? It is going to identify the speech. It is going to identify the speaker based on the voice quality, based on the speech. The simple example is Kaun Banega Crorepati. In that Amitabh Bachchan is going to speak some few words. If you observe it carefully, he is going to use the words with the computer, similar words. Always same kind of words he is going to really use, because the system is a speech recognition system, he has to use in the same jargon. Because he is an actor, he can able to give it like that. So that means that type of a system is simply known as a speech recognition system. So based on the input speech, it is going to process. So that's what called speech recognition system, which we can have. So that system is, that speech recognition system is known as a system for us, which is normally going to accept some signal. It is going to process that to give a desired output response. Next one is basic system block diagram. What is the basic system block diagram we can have? A system is going to be a congregation of many other subsystems, which is going to take some input signal and which is going to give some output signal, and the system is going to process the input signal. Internal to the system, you are normally going to have interrelations of many signals involved. So this system is normally going to get involved with many other subsystems. So different subsystems are normally going to have different signals with different values. So all of them are normally going to get involved in the case of the signal system, in the case of the signal processing by a system. So signal is going to get processed by a system. So therefore, I can call this definition of a system as a system is an interconnection of many subsystems with interrelations of many signals involved in processing of the input signal, in processing of an input signal to produce the desired output signal, is known as a system. Or a system can be called as a mathematical model. A system can be called as a black box. A system can be a piece of code or a software, okay, or any physical device which is going to accept some input and it is going to process that input to produce the output signal, is known as a system. So that means system can be defined by many ways by many people. Similarly, signal can be defined many ways by many people. So you can write, if the definition is really correct, then you are normally going to get marks. Okay, you need not really choose the definition only this one, that one. If it is really justifiable statement, you can always give any justifiable statement for a signal and a system. So more or less, system is nothing but an entity which is going to process, which is going to respond to the given input signal after processing, is known as a system. What is a signal? Signal is nothing but any physical quantity which is going to represent some information is known as a signal. So these two are regarding signals and systems. Let us look into the practical examples of a system now. Just now we have seen the practical importance of the examples of the signal. Signal can be called as a voice signal, signal can be called as a ECG signal, like that. Now let us look into the practical applications of a system. Say for example, there is going to be a system called ECG monitoring system. What is the system is going to do? The system is going to take the heart pumping of a patient. It is going to give you the parameters as the output. That means the input recorded signal is being processed by a digital system called as a personal computer or a PC. PC is going to process that signal and it is going to give you the result with some parameters. So therefore, that is simply called as a ECG system. Similarly, here we have one system I have taken now. This system is known as a DC power supply. Now what is this system we have now? See, this entire thing is a DC power supply. But the DC power supply is a congregation of many other subsystems. This whole system is a combination of many other subsystems. What are the subsystems we are using here? The first block is going to be a transformer. It simply converts the 240 volts 58 signal into a 10 volts 58 signal. So that means it is going to be called a step down transformer. Then later on we are normally going to use a rectifier. Rectifier is going to convert a bidirectional signal into unidirectional signal. Then we normally going to have a smoothing filter. The smoothing filter is going to smooth the signal to the rated values, which are nothing but DC values, which is nothing but something like your RMS value. So it is normally going to give a RMS value with some small ripples, and if you put a voltage regulator after this, we normally going to get a perfect DC signal. So what is the purpose of this DC power supply? DC power supply is required for all the electronic circuits to operate compulsorily. Therefore, we need a DC power supply block. Then this is what one of the system we have. Similarly, we have electrical system. What is electrical system we have? See, there is a power station, there may be a hydel power plant, there may be a thermal power plant. There the power is going to get generated. After that power gets generated, then it will be going into the step up transformer. Then after that, the signal strength or amplitude of the signal amplitude has been increased, and that will be given to the transmission systems. So all these poles are known as the transmission systems. Intermediate to transmission systems, we are going to have a step down or step up transformers based on the requirement that the user is going to have, and finally reaching to the industries and the houses via some other mechanisms, like some supporting poles are going to be there. With that poles, we normally going to get the power supply. Now this entire thing is a system. Individually, this is a subsystem. This particular transmission line is a subsystem. This is a subsystem. So like that, we normally going to have a combination of all the subsystems. So this can be called as a system for us. Then next, I can represent a signal like this. Now how I can represent mathematical signal is V of t is equal to sine of t. Means what? This signal depends on the time period t, sine of t. It represents a function called sine of t. So sine of t can be called as a signal represented in terms of a function, by means of a function. Similarly, this is a voice signal. I can represent by x of t. It depends on time period t. Now let's say image signal I have. This image signal can be represented by spatial coordinates x and y. X coordinate, this particular thing, x coordinate, y coordinate, the values of this on the spatial domain is nothing but a signal for me. So like this, I normally going to have a signal now. The next is signal properties. We have three properties in the syllabus. One is going to be periodicity, next one is absolute integrability, deterministic and non-deterministic signals. Now what is periodicity? Periodicity depends on the periodic and non-periodic properties of the signals. So a signal can be periodic or non-periodic. When the signal is periodic, if x of t is equal to x of t plus t, then the signal is going to be periodic. That means even if you change a finite number of time intervals, but the signal should be same. When that is there, we simply call it as a periodic signal. So next one is going to be absolute integrability. So this particular concept comes under the bounded signals. So bounded means what? The value, the input signal should be bounded. Means what? When you find out the absolute value of it, you should compulsorily going to get some fixed value or a finite value, or when you integrate with some limits, you should get a fixed value. That is called a bounded input. So it is normally used in the case of the bounded input and bounded output cases. So that is what called integrability. Deterministic and stochastic. What is deterministic? The value of a signal is normally going to be numerical in nature in the case of deterministic signal, whereas in the case of stochastic it is not. It is going to be non-numerical in nature. Means you are going to get so many complex components also for the signal under representation. Now let us look into that now. So this is an example which is showing about the periodicity. Now we can take this example in the class, okay, and we can solve it, right? So I just skip this now for this moment. Now what is absolute integrability? What is absolute integrability means what? It should be a bounded signal. For every absolute value of the signal, if it is finite, the output should be finite for all the values of t. That means for a bounded input and a bounded output case, As long as the system input remains finite for all the time periods, the output should also remain finite for all the time periods. Then only this is going to become absolute integrability for the continuous time signals. So this is what one of the another property which we normally going to have it over here. Then finally, deterministic signal. What is deterministic signal? If the value of the signal at a particular time is going to be some number, then it is deterministic. If the value of signal x of t naught, that means x of t at t naught is non-numeric, non-number, so it is going to be a complex number. If it is a complex number, I simply call it as a stochastic in nature, normally used in the probability analysis. So here in our class we are not going to deal with this stochastic things, we only deal with the deterministic signals. Okay, so with this we will end up our today's session. In the next session we will continue with our some of the other properties. Thank you very much for today's session.